Evening, Pirates. It's a good weekend to you. Welcome to TFC Lives. This is Season 3, Episode 5. I think we named this one then Lamb to the Slaughter, or Onslaughter, I think it was. Hi, panel. How you doing? Hey, Brian.
Hello.
How's things? Okay?
Nursing that fleet of fangs.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, God, yeah. We'll talk about that
Eh,
TLC in a minute. Yes, okay. Toxic, how you doing, buddy?
G'day, how are we?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you? It's a good morning for you, isn't it?
It is a very good morning, yes. I'm fed and I'm sitting in my chair reclined, so it's all good.
Excellent. Okie dokie. And Venom, who's getting his base hit at the moment as we talk. With big size.
he's too focused. He's too focused on defense.
I don't think he's that focused at the moment because it's probably a bit late.
Oh yeah, it's a bit late, but who cares?
So it's a pertinent time to title the show as is. Welcome all those in chat, by the way. Good to see you. So he's in there. Ford's in there, excellent. Jeff's in there as well. And I thought I might have popped in and seen. Let's have a look. Mr. S is in there. So Anthony's in there as well. Nick's in there. Naughty Nick, he's in there as well. Cut's in there. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Soul Hector's in there. There's quite a few actually. Good, excellent. Oh yeah, Wayne's in as well, modding as well. Good news. Oh, that's handy because we're going to show some of his stuff tonight. He's been playing around with turret builders, an offline page that he's been working on, so you can look at a little bit like the ship builder sort of thing, but for turrets instead. So we'll have a little look at that later on. But for now, so come on, Venom, tell me all about your experience and post bounty, the Onslaught.
Does this sum it up? Can you cut to my screen?
That could sort it summing up, to be honest. Just hold on to that for a second then. So, with a single hope, okay, so you've actually got an Onslaught in there. You've got a Justice. Yeah, okay. So, clearly you haven't won, but
no.
You've managed to kill 1.5 versus a bit of damage on your sort of stuff. So there's two ways of looking at this, isn't there? Okay, first the tier 7 holes, 3 to collect, 95k, obviously, you know, or 95, whatever it was to get the darn thing. Don't matter how many zeros it was, but 95 anyway. Do we think it's overpowered, or do we think we can do something about it?
I have seen a fleet which I do not think can be stopped.
Okay. Do you think everyone's going to have that fleet, or do you think just maybe 1 or 2 might have that fleet?
The people who know about the fleet design that have the fleet, the people who they hit might figure out what they're doing, but other than that, it'll be tightly closed. Nobody really know about it.
Because I mean, I'm getting vibes of some people saying this is extremely overpowered. I'm getting other people going, no, actually, it's reasonable. If you were to expend all that much time in an event, and then obviously 45k for the 3 holes, then get the 3, you know, modules go on the back, and then get the weapon, then get the special, which I think all up is like 90 or something like that. Hey Ren, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good mate, good. Do you think it's a valid investment? Do you think the person is going to get a return? I mean, we don't want this thing to be so overpowered, but again, we don't want it to be a flop either, because otherwise they won't invest in the future in the game. I'm not talking about financially, but I'm talking about in the game and then progressing forward, being this the first of tier 7s.
For those that have it, they're going to have an incredible amount of fun. If they build it right, they should get into most bases. Some bases are hard, but they're not impossible. But those who do not have it will be crying every day, or every 2 days, I should say, once their bubble pops. Because if you don't have it, you're having no fun hitting bases, and you're just going to be flat most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm you know, I've had a couple of people come in and visit me. In fact, I'm just coming out of the bubble pretty soon. I've just had a little bit of adjustment. You know, I've done more. I think I've done more sort of base defense sort of like adjustments in the last sort of like 3 days than I've done in probably the last 5 months, I think, to be honest, because I just thought, well, fight fire with fire. How can I sort of like counter this thing? Well, we don't have any turrets that can beat it without a doubt, you know, or beat them, should I say. So that's out of the order, isn't it? But we do have other methods, you know. something Red and I were sort of like quickly chatting about earlier on. There are other avenues to explore. No one likes to win a battle by timing somebody out, but you know, at the end of the day, if they don't get your OP, they don't get your OP. So it's still a win. And considering we haven't had to match the first of the tier 7 holes, we haven't had the first turrets at all yet. And it's not horrendous, I suppose. I don't know. What do you think?
The first day was awful. And the explanation that was given for the armors that goes onto it was more confusing and still has more unanswered questions than it actually answered. But for a new ship that's supposed to last a little bit of time, it is quite decent.
I mean, bear in mind that's the very first of those armors. It's not the end of those armors. There's going to be another series of them yet.
Yeah,
because shelf life is what it's all about, isn't it? And the idea is to have the hull that's just built correctly, just doing reasonably well, and can get into 99% of bases that don't have the right type of defense, but will get stopped at a few bases once and once that sort of information gets out, then the community will sort of, as they always do, share bits and bobs and pass it around, and there'll be a certain percentage then where people just won't get in. They'll go, right, well, this thing's had its time, and they'll just some specials, I take it.
You say that, but I have the information. I'm still struggling.
But you have missing kit at the moment, do you?
I've missing kit, but at the same time, with what I have, it should still be able to take out the fleet. And the issue I'm having is with the explanation that was given for the armor. It's still not 100% to what, at least what I think it's supposed to be.
Okay, that's good.
I need clarification.
Yeah, there are a couple of things. We do have some clarification because we have done some digging this week and have spoke to GDR personally, and done a little bit digging on the armors and how it works. And he's actually adjusted his post that he put on the forum as well. That was only done yesterday. So there has been some extra paragraphs put in as well to make it a little bit more palatable to most individuals. So it's sort of like gives the information without giving things away. It's a difficult position to be in, to give all the information without sort of giving all the information away, because it's supposed to be a puzzle, but it is supposed to be a code that you're supposed to be able to break, What we don't know, obviously, is the minimum bypass figures for all the holes, which I know they're trying to work on. Toxic, how's it been for you, buddy?
Yeah, but like you, I've been hitting base parts like all day and changing all sorts of specials and turrets and whatnot. My Conqueror yard is busy with the bus at the minute, so I can't use it for another few days. But once that's done, I'm going to have to go and see if I can build up some of my ships that can stand and maybe hurt some of these guys coming in. As long as I can hurt them, and it's good with them. I mean, I'm not a super hard base, but if I can sort of stand up for a little bit, that'll make me happy. As long as I don't just go and fall in a heap as soon as the battle starts, it's good. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Just concentrating on defense and see what's coming up in the raid, what hulls I can get there, that were old bounty hulls or whatnot that might come in handy now. Yeah, and that's just about it.
Yeah, it does sort of like feed the big alliances, though, doesn't it? It's the whole that if you've got lots of points, you get better again, whereas the people that didn't manage to get it are still struggling around with the 10k ships, which is this time was Boulder fast, wasn't it? So
yeah, I took the mortar and a couple of other specials that are a couple of 5,000 point specials that were more important to me than what the Boulder Fist was.
Right. Okay.
And so yeah, I'm just waiting, and that's all I can do. And I'm having fun trying to not redesign, but re-arm and re-weaponize the base. So
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting at as well, mate. Yeah, exactly that. Rearmoring, slightly changing channels, that sort of stuff. Looking at how I can put some twists in and those sort of things, you know, just to slow things down. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ren, you there, mate?
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ren's there.
Great.
How's it for you, buddy? How's post? I was going to say post bounty, but yeah, how's it been the last couple of days for yourself?
Overall, I feel the game is laggy. I know Brian mentioned he lost his ships on Herculean today.
Yes.
I had a lot of lag. I was able to complete, but you know, sometimes I was literally driving by memory and blind because the ships were just spinning around and doing crap like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't had that.
The base is okay. I had a few bugs, and I still have a bug with my guard. You know, it's weird behavior. The ships, after they get damaged, they move around. It's just totally weird. But I still haven't been hit by 3 onslaughts, so I don't know how that's going to be. But I've been hit by fleets with 1 or 2, and the base survived. I wasn't able to kill them, but it timed out.
Right, yeah.
So
I'll
I'm
give you
okay with that.
I'll give you a hint, Ren. It isn't fun.
Say that again?
It isn't fun.
It's not fun, no. I mean, I got my very first hit the very first night they came out and that sort of stuff, you know.
So sorry, what's not fun? Hitting with the onslaughts or being hit with them?
No, hitting with them is just great fun. Being hit by them is not.
I don't mind. You know, it's part of the game. I see them come in, and you know, some make it, some don't. And then you adjust your puzzle. I like building the base as a puzzle. So yeah, when it was really boring for about 2 months when absolutely nothing could get in my base. It really gets boring, you know. But now at least some people are able to get in, I suppose. You know. We'll see, and then I'll start adjusting. But the timeout strategy is kind of working for now.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the one. Some people have just popped in. I've just seen Dirk pop in. Robin's in. How you doing, Robin? You all right?
Hey, doing well, thanks.
Good. And is it Soul Hex? Yeah.
Yep, it's Soul Hex.
How you doing, buddy? You're right. Dirk, I know you're on, mate. You have to unmute yourself. It's just that I think you were put on mute there because I think you got YouTube still running, mate. So. Just double check that if you wouldn't mind. But hey, how you doing? So if you need to unmute, that's the top center. Okay. So yeah, interesting times. It's definitely a time for the defenders, I think. I mean, the build is blah. There's a couple of designs to go for, but we don't talk too much about PvP builds because that's down to alliances. But defending, it's interesting. There's lots of conundrums, isn't there? I mean, I'm personally like attack modules. Fortunately, they're still free to change. Well, the 1 second concept. And I've changed a lot of mine from the attacking concept to the defending concept, which is helping my island stay alive a lot longer, which is helping me time people out.
And I gotta say, the CP5 Armour, the new one, actually helped my courage.
Yes, me too. Yeah,
I put just 1. Boom. It survived the battery by an Onslaught, a Bus, and a Sloth. You know, who are outside firing remotely, and they couldn't kill the courage.
I've had mixed reviews with that on different ships, especially defenders. More specifically, the Hope. It has issues for some strange reason that I still haven't come up with the answer to, as well as the King.
The King's a funny one, isn't it? Yeah.
Which will die to Morts, which I don't understand how the King dies to the Morts to start with. But
yeah, I didn't add the new Armours to the Hope so far. Thought about it, but I decided to do it on the Courage and 1 CP5 plate, and it was not killable by mortars.
Yeah, I was quite chuffed. It must be. I'm the same sort of thing, and I was looking for salvos, and then you know, salvo spread and reload sort of stuff. That was the thing I was particularly looking at. I mean, the key thing there is, and Venom just touched on it there. So, whilst we know what the minimum bypasses for hitting, obviously the for hitting the new Onslaught. We don't know the minimum bypass for some of the other holes, because it's not been posted up yet. So, and the King is a classic example. We don't know what it is. And so if you are armoring it up, then obviously you're increasing the minimum bypass, and you may be increasing it to a significant number if you're putting too much armor on it, much more than the 360, which is where the Onslaught sits at its start state. So.
And timing out those guys, it's a bit of a combination, right? I was reading the YouTube chat now, and some people were talking about the timeout and whatnot. Again, old players will remember that. Way back when hammerheads were hitting bases, with the right amount of countermeasures, flak guns, and bombards, you could make them time out, right? Because they were slow and they couldn't kill the turrets fast enough, and they couldn't get past. It would just be a stalemate. And that many years later, we're back to having stalemates. When usually the win goes to the defender if they don't get the OP, right? So I have 3 elite countermeasure turrets on my base, plus an Omni full of Gales. And, the Mortars have a hard time getting through.
Yeah, I'm finding that. Dirk, how are you getting on, buddy?
Doing fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you now. That's right. Yeah.
Good. Is it coming out clear?
Yep, we're good.
Nice. From South Africa, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, my side is just back after 6 months sick bed and where to start. Everything has changed so much that it feels like you start right from the beginning.
Oh, wow. You've been away 6 months?
Yes.
Okay, so then that's really good. Okay, so there's another story that we had last week then. So you've been away for 6 months. If you can just sort of like give us a bit of an introduction as to sort of like when you left, sort of what level you were and what sort of fleets you had. I mean, you've been away for 6 months, that's a personal business, but you've come back and then what's the experience been like, sort of, that'd be quite good.
Well, I've been on for about 2 days and it's different, I still played last year. My last day was around about August. Then I went on a sick bed, and I'm back now. I didn't play during December, but things has changed so much. I don't even do base seats anymore. Try to get the fleets ready to do your weeklies and just to get in the game again. That's a different ballgame.
Difficult. What was your last base heating fleet you actually had?
About 2 years ago. I was off the game for about 2 years. Came back, played for about 4 months, off now for 6 months. Now I hope I can get really back to the game again.
Okay. Well, you may have come in at a good time. I don't know. It's getting to the toys. That's the thing, isn't it? It's not the building. I think a lot of people can do the building. It's getting access to the toys, I'm hoping that worst case scenario that they'll let these things not be overpowered. And I think the armor is a good case in point there. For some things it's working really, really well, older holes as well as new holes, but so long as they don't go completely mad in the first 3 months, then it will give people, hopefully by the tech store raid, if not before, the opportunity, and we don't know what's coming right side on the raid yet, to at least try and gain some of this stuff back and level the playing field a little bit. So it's an even count all over. People that have got them now, they've had Bounty 6, they'll have them for a month hopefully, and then they'll sort of be available, or that level of tech will be available to people to go and get it as well. So those individuals that have built at least one of these raid fleets can go and at least get something. That's what I'm hoping, but I don't know.
That's sure. My big thing is just to get the fleets ready to start on your weeklies and do all the stuff that you can do before you even think of doing any raid. That's what I'm thinking.
Wow. And what was FM when you left? What was the FM targets?
That was the old FM still.
Wow.
Run through them. The new FMs is totally a new thing to me.
Blimmin' heck. Oh, wow. We got a bit of a learning curve then.
I'm still sitting with some of the old boats.
Oh, wow. So have you got sort of, hang on, I was just trying to think, Apollos, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I got the Apollos not fully built yet. I need to get the right stuff on them, and then I should be able to do something.
Okay. And you got yourself into an alliance, have you? Have you got some people to help you? think
Yeah,
they
I'm
need
in 2.6. I'm in 2.6.1, but they're very quiet. You know, when I started to play this game, there was a lot of fun, a lot of people on, and it looks like it's getting, you know, more and more people are leaving the game or playing less. So yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, we were sort of covering that last week. They're trying to sort of like straighten the game out before they bring fresh faces in. I think that's what they're trying to do. But obviously, that takes time. As someone was saying last week, you know, when you turn a tanker, it takes a long time to you can't just flick the wheel to the left and all of a sudden you turn a 90 degree. It takes a little while. And the problem is you bleed people at the same time. People are still falling off the side of the ship. And it isn't docking for some time yet to pick up fresh passengers. So we'll see if they manage to do it. I'm intrigued myself. I mean, to see how 2018 goes. But I can honestly say, and I think we've all noticed the amount of traffic we've been getting lately, even in the community manager perspective, we're definitely getting a lot more communication at the start of 2018. I think, unless people feel differently, I don't know.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's nice to have a program like this. We can actually chat to the guys and get ideas and stuff. This helps a lot.
Well, I'm glad you think that, but yeah, I make most of my stuff up. No, it's not too bad. We're good. Let's okay. Jonathan, what about you, buddy? He's logged in again under a different name.
Sorry, I just came back. What was going on?
So we were just saying about obviously post Bounty 6 and that sort of stuff. Sort of, did you manage to get the ships that you wanted, and did you manage to get some tech, or are you on the receiving end? You didn't get it, and you're now trying to do as much base defense as possible.
Actually, this bounty was one of the best bounties I've ever really been in. I got around 54,000. I could have gotten the Onslaught, but I didn't because I was thinking the mortar would have been better. And you know, I didn't have the boulder fist the first time, so I got the boulder fist and, you know, other stuff. Now that I see the Onslaught, I kind of wish I did get the Onslaught with the Armours. But I mean, it was just so I didn't know what it was going to do.
Yeah,
I mean, there are other avenues, though, aren't there?
Yeah, I just thought, you know, the instead of quality, I thought quantity would probably be better in the end.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did use it for catch up, and obviously and I think Ren mentioned this as well previously, that the Onslaught does seem expensive, and Bounty does seem to be creeping in its prices, and hopefully then next Bounty it'll be cheaper, you know, and more people will be able to get it, and it'll still seem, I think, if they don't get too carried away with their swings like they did last year, if it stays as it is, then it'll still be a viable hull, you know.
Hey, that's how I've been getting my hulls.
Yes, mate. Yeah, you were saying that's it. Yeah.
King Grit, I got on the second bounty. I think the Boulder was the only one I got in the first go round. But all others, I got the Twin Blade. I think it's the same. I got them all in the second time they were offered. I didn't get any Onslaughts. I don't have them. I'm gonna get them next month.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are doing that. They're doing the, you know, if you're not at the front of the queue, you don't mind sort of like going in second class and picking it up that way. So, oh, look, Trouble's in. Hello, young lady. How are you? Oh, have she got a microphone on or not?
Doesn't want to speak.
Maybe the dog kicked out the mic cable again.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, there she is. How you doing? All right.
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So, yeah, you were well received. Well, that's probably the wrong way to put it, but yeah, your attendance went down a storm last week. So thanks very much. Yes, it did. It was all good. So I know you were a little bit like a bit of trepidation there, but no, it was great. It's fantastic. No, we just had, I don't know if you heard, but Dirk's been in the same sort of scenario. Obviously, been away for a while and that sort of stuff, and he just got back. He's down in South Africa, but he's with Apollos and not quite finished them even. So he's sort of really struggling.
Yeah, it's hard. It really is.
But back in the game though, so you know, there's two people that have come back. So you know, this could be a nice precedent. So I hope we'll see.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, we had a few that had come back. Ren's got a friend, Medusa, that's coming back. I think she was away from the game, wasn't she?
She was for a bit.
Well, that's a known name. I know that one.
Yeah,
Same
she's
player.
back.
Yeah.
But there have been quite a few, I think, that are coming back and doing good things.
Yeah, well, we were sort of saying, wasn't it? It was the camaraderie type thing, wasn't it? That people mostly missed, I think.
It was.
Ah, yeah, it is the same person then, Ren. Yeah, good. That's excellent. That person was a good player, so yeah.
Medusa, she kicks ass.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I can remember that name back in flipping heck. God, the old leveling system when I was about level 27 or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, she's a very aggressive player. She's got a great personality.
Hey, we need all kinds. Oh dear. Anyway, right. Okay. And so, yeah. Anybody else
We'll actually talk about Onslaught and post bounty.
Yes. So come on, let's have somebody else have some thoughts on the Onslaught itself. Who's built a full fleet and who's actually got the obviously attack modules on? Anybody?
I have one built for hitting and one for defense.
Okay. And has it enhanced your hitting capabilities?
Oh yeah, it's great fun.
Okay. So you.
So are you going to be the third?
I'm currently tweaking builds for the third. I'm not setting the final build yet, but I will be building the third.
So if you don't mind me asking you, you're probably mixing up tactical modules, aren't you? Would you mind talking about that a little bit?
Well, for hitting, there's a couple of modules that are old that you can use. I don't want to give too many details away, but things like adding or decreasing the building defense, that comes in really handy for bases like Mark's, where he's built up the defense in the island. There's modules you can use for sort of getting past slowdown fields. It's really about mixing the fleet so that you can bypass any of the issues that are starting to arise.
Yeah, that was my
if I was a new player who's not going to be coining them, who's building it slowly, I hold off on building more than one. Just wait, look around what people who have went out and coined theirs and thrown the money sort of at it to test what's suitable for it, see what they're using, because the time when these things does add up, so you don't want to make a mistake on it.
Yeah,
but for
I think on our alliance, Jags has all three. I don't know his setup, but I know he's having a lot of fun with all three hitting bases.
One is fun, 2 is a little bit more fun, and then 3 is just laughing at people. Once you have the 3 built with the right modules on it and the right weapons and the right setup, it's just you're just laughing.
Yeah. Did you see Jags, Ginger?
I saw him and Rena a little bit last night hitting. Oh.
Did he fail on any base, or did he get them all?
He didn't fail on any that I saw. I was watching Tax. He's got 3 as well. I was watching him earlier, and they seem to be having a lot of fun with them.
It's interesting, isn't it? I've just about finished my third now, and yeah, so I've done 2 in attack and 1 in defense, or 1 in. It can go at either or, with a different sort of attack module on it. So yeah, I've gone back to some of the old attack modules, which are fun to look at again. I have to say, because we haven't used them for like 3 years, 4 years, or well, probably about 3 years. So I mean, in fact, I suppose the last one people were using were the Wake module, weren't they? And then the Siege Drone one, I think it was the last time people were playing around those things. But so it's been a while.
Yeah. Does anybody remember the old raids? And I can't remember which ones what it was called, but it was the one where you used a lot. You saw a lot of the modules being used, because it was the one that had the mothership with the little drones going in circles.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, but they had that siege drones, and they were the ones that were taking all the hits for you on your behalf. Yeah,
right. And you could do them jointly, and people would send in the different colored tac modules on the little ships, so it looked like a little rainbow, but it would really protect them. They were throwing it on the little arbiters.
Well, sort of GDR sort of spoke about trying to bring that back, that sort of concept.
That would be a neat idea. that was really fun back in the day. But that was the first thing I was thinking of whenever I saw that you could put one of the modules on the Onslaught. Was how cool would it be to be able to use some of that old stuff?
How cool would it be if they could just quarter all the weight of the TAC modules in the TAC lab at the moment? Just like quarter everything. That'd be fantastic. I mean, they're not all perfect because they do like one of them says like ship defense, reduction. Well, we're talking about bypass now and not defense, so it's some of the math doesn't work. But.
Well, it's something else that's cool but needs to be updated, like the crews. You spin for crews and they're so outdated. Some of them are, and the wording on there.
Yeah, I mean, I've plugged for a different avenue altogether. I've actually plugged personally, and I have sent in that through the reiteration of the TS7s coming out, that actually, if you roll in crews, we can phase them out of a period of time, and I want them out of the game altogether. And I want the decent. Yeah, I'm hoping via TAC modules and specials and production of armor, stopping excessive usage of really, really high level crews and that sort of stuff. Well, then move your armor around or change your TAC modules and that sort of stuff. And then you're not disadvantaging the people that didn't happen to have that lucky roll.
No more grease monkeys?
And the chore's gone. Well, they can do it a different way, can't they? That's a simple half click mechanic, isn't it? We've had half click mechanic in the main game now last week, and everyone was loving it.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to build the grease monkey. We know they do a lot of events with the assumption that grease monkey is going to be used. So, why bother with it? Why not just turn on half repair and just leave it on for that week or whatever it is?
Well, that's true.
I think for if they're going to refresh them, I think then put it into the build of the ship and keep it simple. Stop all this complicated stuff and that sort of stuff.
It's going to be cool, Mark, when they keep releasing a few more of these tier 7 hulls and they become more commonplace, and all of them are going to have a tactical module slot, because that's what GDR said on our show a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's going to be really cool.
And I think TAC modules will become the new crews. That's what I think. As long as, what was it, a day to change them out, that sort of stuff. So, or thereabouts. Hopefully it'll be quicker. I'd like it to be faster than that. But, there's so many crews and they keep turning them on and turning them off, because also they'll build a ship and they'll go, oh my God, what a mistake we made. Look at that special that people are using, that crew. And all of a sudden they put it like at the 1 in 1 billion chance of getting it. And then everybody just gets angry. So,
yeah. And nobody feels like they're really a lucky bastard when they roll the lucky bastard crew either.
Only the crew itself. And then nobody rolls past it.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to say about these armors is, I use tokens and to refit some older Conquerors, and then I noticed that their repair time dropped hugely, because these new armors are only 15 minutes each, compared to 30-40 minutes of some of the older plates, radioactive plate, pen plate, explosive plate, and the splash damage reduction one. These are only 15
bulkhead.
minutes.
Yeah, that's it, Robin. Yeah, bulkhead as well, isn't it? Yeah. I don't mind these 15 minutes. They're good. I think they're good. There's, but it all does add up, as Venom was saying. It does sort of add up to the overall, and we have to be careful with that, because it's a bit like the building. Have you noticed that I made a silly mistake? I went to put an armor on a ship to see what difference it would make, and then I realized I hadn't fully ranked it, and then I went, oh, that was expensive. So I used up a lot of my VXP, which I was pretty annoyed at myself.
Well, with the armor, being kind of less expensive to repair, I do remember that the drone TAC mods and stuff like that were very expensive to repair. It add time to your hull and that stuff. And if you were to put stuff like TAC mods that would add repair time, they could do that with that.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, George's in. Hey, George.
Hey, evening, everybody.
How are you, mate? You all right?
Oh, I remembered halfway through that the damn time's different on Saturday.
Yes, it's 1 hour earlier, mate. Yeah,
I do that every bloody week.
It does. Literally, it's good that you're in that sort of stuff. So, I was going to quickly have a little. I'll just hopefully this will work. It doesn't go goofy on me. Yeah, it does. So, this post, a lot of people have probably read it, and that's the discussion screen that GDR was basically having on the Kickstarter page. And you'll notice that obviously it was edited yesterday. So he's actually done some additional clarity regarding the descriptor about the new armors and how it affects the Conqueror holes and that sort of stuff. It's really worth a reread as well. He's added a section at the bottom, okay, to explain that the numbers, the top end numbers he was talking about, were actually notional numbers, just giving you a baseline to say if the number was X. And I think he said 139,000, something like that. But he does give some sort of formulas and that sort of stuff. What we are waiting for, clearly, is the minimum, bypass figures for a lot of other holes. We know what it is, obviously, for the latest one that's just come out. But like we were saying, the King's Rip, we don't know what it is for that. By stacking lots of armors on them, we seem to have been making a huge mistake by doing so. Justice is another one as well. There's a few ships that you really shouldn't get too carried away. But
one of the other things is a lot of players are saying that they tested it, and rather than just get the 360 pass through, the more armor you put on, the damage stacks.
Yeah, it seems to be increasing past the 360, doesn't it?
Right, and it's not supposed to. So I don't know if I'm hoping that they're looking into it, but I did see a lot of people.
Do you see the bottom down there? So there's no such thing as deflection cap in the game. The stack deflection is as high as you want it without limitations. So that's interesting. But by stacking up the cap, you also up the minimum bypass.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when he said deflection cap, and this might just be like a programming geek thing, when he explained the deflection cap in the top part, he put in a parenthetical that this is an example number, not real, right? And it originally said this was just the top maximum number that a salvo is doing for this example, and he actually changed that whole line. It looks like I didn't even. Yeah, he has. Yeah. So the deflection cap was essentially a cap on the damage, so you could calculate the deflection and how you could go just beyond the deflection, so the minimum damage doesn't trigger. And it was, a lot of people got confused by that. I didn't even I understood what it was because of the parenthetical and the context, but yeah, it was a poor choice of words, I think.
No, it wasn't. It's people are not literally reading the first few words of that paragraph. As an example, it was always in that post at the very start.
I just think, I'll play devil's advocate, okay?
Yeah, he called it.
Not every single people even understands the word parenthetical. They just don't, okay? They're just looking for magic numbers. Okay, they want top end ballpark numbers. Those numbers aren't here yet, and those numbers will probably never be here for the max. He's already said at the bottom there is no maximum deflection number.
There's no cap on the deflection, and I think the reason why there was such confusion is because people, it's a big post. People probably tried to skim through it real quick to just get the numbers, like you said, and they saw a deflection cap, right? And it was in big bold, well, not big bold letters, but it was capitalized, and people just presumed right away that meant, there's a cap on deflection. It's only so good until you reach that cap. And it really meant the damage cap for the deflection that we were calculating in the example. It was a very, like I said, I had no problem with it, but I can clearly understand why people would get, confused with that, because it was I'll admit it was a poor choice of words, I think.
No, for me, I think it's a trial and error.
I don't think it's, sorry.
So no, go on, mate.
I don't think it was ever a poor choice of words, because it led with example at the very start, and you could not see that number with your eye without seeing as an example. The thing is, when you're telling it to other people in your alliance, or some guy's telling some other guy who heard it from some other guy, it's the game of telephone all over again, where, hey, deflection clap is 129 whatever. No, but it got so muddled through retelling everywhere that somebody just forgot. And it's weird for me because I'm looking at it, and the example, I understood it because numbers, but I think it's so rare that you're ever going to come to the situation that he described where you are just under the damage that they're dealing, you're within that 100 damage or whatever that he put, where it's you take 110 now, because you're just so close to the damage. But if you put another plate on, you take more. It's really going to be just near impossible to even figure that out. And that's not even taking into account critical hits. If it were me, I would just, if I wanted to defend against ballistic pen and explosive and my hull was bad at them, I would just stack all three and not worry about super optimizing for damage within 200 of whatever. Because between base A and base B, you don't know about the fire supports, about fuel air, what other mods they've got necessarily. Like, you just don't know. It's so hard to even consider. There's a level of nuance that they're taking this whole thing to, I think, between the capping of the TAC mods and this new thing, the new pass-through and the Onslaught and the Armours and all this. And it's great that we have so many options, but to perfectly optimize it requires a level of nuance and thought that in practice, I don't think anyone's going to do. It's just too difficult. And
well, you
this
can't,
build may one particular base if you do it perfectly, but other than that, what's the point?
Well, you can't do some of these numbers because we don't know the numbers in the PvE stuff. But I think the reason why he had attempted what he did was because he wanted to show how that new armor would interact with the T6 and T5 stuff. Because if you know that you're going in and this guy has like a base full of epic cap mortars, right, and you know what the damage is, and you can get that armor set to be just under what you're doing damage it with, you're not going to whack that 360, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was just he was trying to explain a whole lot as quickly as he could, and it was already a long, post. So
we'll have him back on. He's already said he'll come back and do some little explanatories and that sort of stuff, and put it into the context when we get some new turrets as well and that sort of. So he is coming back. He's already suggested that there isn't another stage to this and that sort of stuff. Just to try and make it a little bit easier. The thing I was confused about, and I said to Robin as well, was, we're talking about minimum bypass. Well, does that mean that any weapon that goes in there and then throws and actually hits a ship, does that mean it's going to get the minimum bypass? Or if it's doing only like 50 damage, and the minimum bypass is 360 sort of stuff, does it automatically then get a boost? I.e., then is a third one going to get a massive boost?
It's funny that you mention that because in the past, right, and I mean a couple of years back, there was only a couple people that were really getting into like the crazy behind the numbers type of thing, like the BP Professor. Larry was all over that kind of crap. And back then, the way that we were explained was that for minimum bypass to trigger, you would have to have your damage reach 0 or below the minimum damage, and then it would go straight to minimum damage. And when deflections came out, it was kind of re-explained again that if you had a deflection greater than the damage, it would go to minimum damage, right? There was no clarification at that point. And what happened in a thread on the forums that I was reading through it, and I can see both sides of this, and I haven't seen an official answer yet, but if you do like, say, bypass chain guns or one of the old Reaver chain guns, and each individual projectile is only doing 144 damage, you're not going to get the 360. It doesn't bump it up to 360, which is not exactly what it says in that article.
Yeah, I got him to clarify that this week as well. So he has made some adjustments in his article, that forum post as well.
Yeah. So
I sent Brian some math, a couple of equations, and he said they made sense to him as well. So
yeah. And one of the other things that is a little bit confusing, and again, this is another thing that I would like to get an official clarification on. Our general understanding is that if you have a deflection of 200 and your projectile does 220, in the past we've been explained that since it exceeds the deflection, you only get that 20 damage. It does not, you don't get any of the bypass, you don't get any of the pass-through damage. It only happens when it's triggered. Some people are saying that no, you get the pass-through and whatever extra damage it is. And I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think that's the case. No, I don't think
I don't think that's accurate. But again, the community is confused. I would like to see some official clarification on some of these nuance points, as Brian put it, because we are getting to the point where the game is very complicated, and there are a lot of players now that are interested in understanding at least the concepts behind it. If even if they're not going to do all the numbers out, they still want to understand the game.
Okay. And sorry, mate. Ren, you there?
Yes, and now for something completely different.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, okay, cool.
Am I the only one doing expeditions?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I am.
I did.
I just don't see the point. I've given up on them.
I did one.
Get things much faster doing other things.
Yeah, I did one, and I didn't get the 500%.
I've used so much. I've used so much titanium in the last 4 days. My Skyfires are my greatest fleet ever. I have to say, they're just phenomenal. Driving in the 85s, I can almost do.
Nobody else does that.
So Robin, Venom, and Ren, I guess, are doing it because I did one and I didn't get the 500%. The ships came back after.
Yeah, I only got 250. That's why I gave up. I got really pissed off. It said 500 and it gave me the 250, so I sacked it.
I didn't even get that. I got what it said originally on the card, and that was it. And it was one of the new 2-star ones. Have you guys, Robin, Venom, and Ren, have you guys had that issue at all?
You guys chat. I'll ask the live chat. See what they're doing.
I got the 500%.
My only problem is if I'm doing an expedition when the timer, the weekly timer on them resets, it docks my fleet with whatever resources it gathered, but then I miss. It takes from me the 500% bonus for the next new cycle. It's like, oh, you were already there, so you start at 250. It steals that from me. That's a bug.
Damn.
Yeah, that's not nice.
I reported that, and let's see. I mean, Rampage acknowledged. Let's see what happens. But it's kind of weird if you're not there to recall your fleet a few hours or a few minutes before the weekly clock resets. It takes the 500% cycle away from you.
Yeah, I chew through too much to really use them other than, I'll just send this off because I'm not using this fleet, and then off it goes. I mean, I go through refill after refill and then just kind of keep an eye and plan it. Okay, I don't have to refill tonight because my fleet will be back in the morning. I mean, it's not fully replaced my chore fleets, and I am still doing the chores, but I have been using them a little bit more lately, just to, especially on base parts, just to fill up.
Do you know one of the main reasons I don't use them? Because I hate the fact that you see the ships out on the sea. So you've got your mega ship there, then slot 1's filled up the thing that's on the expedition. If you're doing 2 expeditions, there's 3. And then all of a sudden you've got like 2 or 3 other ships out doing things. And if you're prepping stuff, you're clicking the wrong damn things, and then things don't move, and you like to get sniped and that sort of stuff. I find it really frustrating.
Yeah, I actually put in a suggestion for that because I know everybody's frustrated. You're going to snipe somebody's baser that's coming in, and all of a sudden you're
gone quiet, Robin.
Yeah, she's gone.
Oh, can you hear me?
Go again.
I'm sorry. But I put a suggestion in to go ahead and change the sort order on the fleets, because if you launch like 5 or 6 fleets and you've got an expedition fleet out, it's not like the expedition fleet's at the top or the bottom. It actually ends up being in the middle. And so it's very frustrating with the way that they've got it sorted.
As if having the Hyperion there wasn't bad enough already.
Yes, and that was my other thing, was put that at the bottom so it's not the default fleet, because there's nothing more annoying than bringing your mega hull to a fleet versus fleet.
Especially
who hasn't done that, to be honest.
And when you've got subs, and then everybody now knows that you've got subs, because all of a sudden you're mega rocked up.
You're like, oh, I feel like such a tit.
I just decided to ask you guys, because I had this comment on my video about expeditions today. The guy said, expeditions are total rubbish, even for low-level players. I'd rather fart a lump.
I don't know what that means, but I can sort of agree that they're rubbish.
Yeah. But if you're not using your fleet currently, then why not actually have it out doing something? I can understand the whole fleets on the water. That's annoying. But I mean, if you're not using it, or if you have 2 fleets, like my Cannoneers, I have them. If I have Buccaneers now, well, I'm not using my Cannoneers, so might as well put them using them, when I'm not using them.
But the payout just isn't worth it, is the thing. Yeah. I mean, you set your fleet out and you don't get crap. You can fill up on that stuff. A lot of the higher end players can fill up on that stuff in a few minutes. So why waste the time of seeing a fleet sitting on the map for days? I'm OCD. It bothers me. I don't know. I just don't like it.
That's the trade-off, because in my mind, it's just like, okay, I can either have this fleet in the dock, doing nothing, never being used, or I can throw it out there on an expedition, spend 5 minutes doing the little battle there, and forget about it for a week. Base parts-wise, works great. The other 2 are kind of crap, but now I'm going to probably get like 300k uranium throughout the week, just by leaving my Tide Seekers out there. And I don't know, it seems like I'm the only one who thinks that's a good idea. And so that's why I'm asking, because I know I'm missing relocation. That sucks. I cannot relocate without canceling all my expeditions.
But yeah, I can see it actually helping out, especially lower players, if they can still use their Tide Seekers.
And we lost her.
I'm going to post her a new microphone.
I don't think it's a microphone. I think she needs to go down to the ISP and like start knocking some heads together.
Start changing.
But yeah, I've always also noticed that whenever you're hitting bases, you actually tag their expedition fleet sometimes. I'm not sure if that's a glitch.
Yeah,
or
angles, isn't it?
And I'm worried about that. If your fleet goes back dead, or I'm not entirely sure. It hasn't happened to me yet.
Right.
You know that one.
That's caused by if you right click on the base, it'll select the fleet rather than the base. But if you select the base, then hit attack base, it'll only hit the base itself. If you do kill the fleet, sometimes I've seen it go back. Other times it hasn't gone back for unknown reasons.
It comes back repaired in the end, and in a way, you're kind of making the life of whoever's hitting your base harder, actually.
But it's also the other way around, isn't it? Because if someone's doing the one with submarines and that sort of stuff, and you tag them, you actually get damage on your base fleet, but their submarines are going to get fixed anyway for free.
Oh, nice.
But you actually do take damage to your real life fleet, and they're not, because theirs just comes back. Even if they cancel it, they get it for nothing. So
that's what I'm saying. I have 3 fleets doing expedition, and people trying to hit my base. Sometimes you hit the base, sometimes you hit the expedition fleet. It's kind of random. If they take any damage, too bad for them. My fleet's going to come back repaired.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing I don't understand about people saying the expeditions are rubbish is you can set all of your fleets to the, or all of the expeditions before you go off for the end of the night. Just do the one battle, go off, wake up in the morning, go to work, come home, and you've got more items than you would have if you hadn't been doing it. It's just free items. Your ships get repaired anyway.
Yeah, but you got to see it that way. If you do that battle, you may as well have hit 103 or something. If, let's say, base parts, and you would have gotten 300,000 base parts for that.
Yes,
and it would have taken you roughly the same time. I mean, you have to do either or. You have to do both. You either have to go into the expedition, or you have to do it. You have to hit the 103 or whatever you're hitting, and you get more.
You've missed the point entirely there. It's when you're not here, so you cannot be out hitting the 103. You can set it to go and run the base part target for you while you're not there. So you wouldn't be doing the 103 to start with. You can hit as many 103s as you want while you're there, but when you're off, you can send the fleet out to do the expedition, come back, recall the fleet, and use it when you want. The fleet, as soon as it collects one of the resource, it's instantly repaired. All you have to do is recall your fleet once you're back on the game, use it, then put it straight back into the expedition when you go off. You're getting resources while you're not there.
And just a reminder, you cannot hit a 103 with 3 ironclads.
No,
but you
no,
can
you can
set an expedition out to 3 ironclads.
No, but it's just what I was saying. Your effort is the same with it, whether the last thing you hit of a night is a 103 or an 86 or whatever you want to hit. You still have to hit it, and the same with the expedition. You still have to hit that expedition.
Yeah.
So rather than hitting the expedition and getting 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever the number is, I'd rather hit another 103 and then be done for the night and let it repair.
Well, at 500%, for the base parts, I was getting 900,000 base parts for a day, so I could send that off. And by the time I've gone to bed, woke up, went to work, and got home, I'll have had most of the 900k done for me. So that's multiple targets hit rather than just one. So it is useful.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, isn't part of the problem that the chores are just broken? I mean, if the expeditions were there to get rid of chores, it should pay out way more, or the chores have to get to a point where if I have invested in top flight hulls, I should be able to auto the stuff for minimum damage. Not minimum damage, but I mean, if I want to fill up on titanium or something, and I do it before the end of the night, I want to go out, auto a bunch of stuff while I'm doing other chores or whatever, and then bring it back and have, a couple hours of damage. I mean, I think me and Ren had spoken about that before.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Right. If you wouldn't mind, I just want to have a quick look at something. Sorry, we're having a bit of sideboard chat as well. I was just saying that great panel tonight, and it's really good. I think we've got virtually every. It's a global game, and this really proves that this panel tonight is. I think there's someone for nearly every continent across the whole of the globe here on this panel, and some really big alliance players as well. So some returnees as well in some big alliances getting some help, and also What I like about some people that are back in here at the moment is there are some people here who are coming back into the game, but still have a wealth of knowledge. So whilst they might not have the best equipment, they're also helping at their own alliance because they've got a shitload of knowledge. So the trade-off is fantastic. So it's good to see. One thing I wanted to quickly show people, if you wouldn't mind, because and actually Wayne's been working on this quite a lot. So we have the shipbuilding and that sort of stuff. Huggies, obviously. So Wayne's been working on the thing for us. No one actually has anything to do with the turrets that you can do offline. So we've sort of put something together where, and it's in draft mode at the moment, so in beta, but it should go live pretty soon. I'm just going to create the new uplink. So there's a turret basically, and you can drop down the menu there, and you can go right to level 9 turrets. And obviously, there's an example of the level 9 turret. And from that, then obviously you can then add the relevant pieces on that turret, like a Deadeye if you wanted to. And then obviously, you can add the relevant specials for that particular,
That's neat as hell.
And then you can obviously add the correct and only the ones that work with that turret sort of stuff. So it gives you a bit of a, so that's there. It's on the second page. Have a little look at it. It's new. Put forward some suggestions, some adjustments. If there's any bugs and that sort of stuff, he's done this all himself, and he's doing it in the background. Look, there's going to be a couple of teething problems, I understand, but it's nice. Look, he's even got a health bar at the top, for weight as well. So if you were to knock that down and say put it onto a level, I don't know, level 3, you'll reset at level 3. And if you want to put on, I don't know, let's put on something ridiculously heavy. There you go, straight to red. So
yeah, he's put a lot of work into it. It's a really neat little application, and it's great for if you're trying to plan something, and like if you're in the middle of the repair and all your turrets are damaged, you can't do anything, or if they're upgrading. So it's great to be able to just go in there and look and plan. Yeah,
that's the frustrating thing. Was you're trying to show somebody what you've just built. You go, oh, I can't do that sort of stuff. So and there's a shareable link there as well. So at least it's something we can do offline. It's in its early stages. But I'm sure it'll get better and better and that sort of stuff. But all the current stuff is there now, so it's just thought I'd just push that up for you. I'm not actually sure where the link is on the page, but we'll post it up with this obviously show tonight so that we can find it. Once I know Andrew's been having a chat, and he's definitely in the sidebar chat there, so I'm sure that gets squared away. But anyway, sorry. Just thought it might help people out and give them some examples to. It's always nice to pass ship builds around, for the PvE stuff, and it's definitely nice to show a little bit of base building, but it's quite hard to show someone turrets apart from just taking clips of pictures. So this way, at least you can do the equivalent to Huggies and then just keep playing around with things. So
how's the ship build? The ships and fleets doing? I heard a lot of people were saying that they were kind of complaining about that stuff on the page. I didn't know if there's any update to it or something like that.
Oh, on our page, sorry. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, you're right. I'll come back. Hang on, sorry. So yeah, so if you go into the ship builds and fleets, so we have had it down and off for a little while. But what we've done is basically gone into. You'll see now. Let's look at Skirmish, for example. And if you go into the Skirmish line, and let's pick up something that's maybe a little bit older. I don't know. We'll just look at. So we have got some new stuff that started. So there's quite a few now 2018 builds in there as well. Those who want the turret thing, it's in the sidebar chat at the moment in the live. So I'll copy that and I'll stick it onto the link when we post this show later. So there's like the Hunter ones. So there's a couple of examples, and we're taking back people's ideas as well now. So we're quite happy to take in examples as well. What else we got then? I don't know. Assault.
Updates on some of the older fleets with some of the newer tech as well.
Yeah, here we go. Look, so we've updated things like Phoenixes then. So there's the 2017 builds, but look, there are several there now with 2018 as well, with the newer tech and that sort of stuff. So we've kept the old ones in because that was our conundrum. How big does this get? Web pages get bigger, they get more cumbersome and that sort of stuff. But we decided to make Andrew's done a dividing line basically, and he's kept all the 2017 stuff in, but he's managed to make it so that the 2018 stuff is sort of like at the top of each of the pages. So
that's wonderful, really wonderful.
Yeah, so it does sort of help. Takes you as ever, takes you back to Huggies as we always like to do and that sort of stuff, which is So anyway, it's there, it's working. What he has done as well, if the ship isn't got a build next to it now, he's grayed them out. So if it's a colourful ship, i.e. the blueprint for the ship is in colour, that means there's going to be a build. And if you hover over it, if you can't remember what the name of the ship is, it actually comes up with the ship name itself. So
and speaking of Huggies, He is going on a well-deserved vacation for 2 weeks, so
Yes, yes.
Huggies will not be updated with new updates until he gets back. So just an FYI on that.
Yeah, I mean, he needs some praise. Huggy stopped playing the game a long time ago, and he just does it out of the
he's
goodness
still
of his
updating
heart.
it, too.
Yeah. Say again?
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a
So
brilliant guy.
He still updates it?
He still
that's pretty
updates
cool,
it. He
yeah.
hasn't played in quite a long time.
hasn't played
but
in a long
he'll
time.
update it once he gets the information.
Yeah, so don't just assume that, you know, a couple of people are going, oh, you forgot to do this, you know, the attack module. You forgot to put this special, like the new mortar where it's got the concussive hidden in the background is one of the add-ons, like, you know. But he's not going to find these things out. You got to tell him, because he doesn't even play the game. He doesn't have anything to blog into and that sort of stuff. It's just the data he gets from us. So, you know, not us personally here at TFC, but the players. So, you know, just bear that in mind when you do try to chastise him. Some people do, for bizarrely. I don't know why, but they do.
Yeah, and I got to give him credit. He takes the time to actually answer a lot of the stuff that gets sent to him as well. So, I mean, he puts a lot of time and effort into this.
Yeah. And his page is as popular as ever, which is good. Right, we've hit the hour. So open forum time. Anything you want to bring up? Anything at all that's bugging anybody at the game, or anything that's, you know, how are you finding the forum posts at the moment? How are you finding communication? How's 2018 doing for you in general? Somebody lead if you want to.
No more siege test. Woo!
Actually, I have something.
Go.
I don't lose my microphone. Just to point to what Sol was saying too about builds. A lot of people are frustrated because they go to the TFC page and they're not seeing baser builds. Generally, people don't want to share a build with something that may turn around and they'll get hit with later on. So if you're looking for a baser build and you can't find one, and you've used the search and nothing's coming up, go ahead and post something that you were thinking of. Now, most players may not share their actual individual builds, but they will tell you if you're heading in the wrong direction. So don't be scared to post something and ask for advice, because the folks that are on the page are really helpful, and they will let you know if you're headed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, to that point too, I actually did when the Prides first came out. I actually posted a build, and I was flattened for a long time with my build, and thanks for the build when they left my flat base. So yeah, just saying.
As was Ren when he did his little video and he got flattened himself. But there is some stuff. Look, okay. There are some new builds in here. We've got some new. There you go. So you put the cursor over the ship and it tells you. So there's the gluttony. So you think, oh, there's no bus build. Well, bus is a sloth, okay, and yes, we could have put a separate link in, but if you go into the sloth, for example, look, and there you go, look, I've posted one myself. I don't mind doing it. I'm not saying it's the greatest build, but these are sort of vanilla, generic builds. You go into them there, look, and, you know, click on the link, and there you go. There's the bus, you know, and there's a couple of sloths, and then obviously you put your tanks as per you want, or we put another sloth or do sort of thing, you know. But just as a generic example, so there are some builds in there. They've got some reasonably good tech on them, that sort of stuff. You know, some suggested crews if you're playing Rimmer crews. So there is stuff there. It's not, you know, the latest, the greatest, and it's certainly not the sneaky things that, you know, like the SDS7s and the PNSs do, where you know, prep fleets and certain things and that sort of stuff, and using specials that only the freaky geekies use and that sort of stuff. But for the vanilla stuff, at least it's a starting point, you know. So
I have a question though.
Yeah, go on.
I know I've you know, pretty much done as much as I can with my FM fleet, and I've posted it everywhere on multiple Facebook pages. I was wondering, is my build on the council webpage?
Only if you agree for it to be shown.
Oh.
You have to post it to Andrew, and you post it on the Forsaken, and then just tag Andrew in. Just say, Andrew, happy for this to get shown. We don't grab people's fleet ideas. We don't agree on doing that. So.
Okay, that's good to know.
Did we open the submit button back up?
I don't know if that's done on the page yet, but I think we're about ready for it.
Well, if not, Jonathan, there is a place where you can submit your own build as well on the page, and then Andrew takes that and goes ahead and uploads that as well.
I'm just looking. No, it's not open again yet at the moment, but if you've got something specific and you know it does well in a certain thing, then put it onto the TFC page and just tag Andrew, and he'll look at it. And if he hasn't got something up there already that matches it, he'll quote your name, and obviously he'll put it onto the site.
Okay, because I've been trying to go around with it. I think I might have done a couple of changes to the Icebreaker build to actually include the Fasago Icebreaker, which is a lot better than just having 3 regular Icebreakers. So
okay,
I'll get ahead and do that then.
Okay, sure, that'd be good.
And Jonathan, if they don't want it, send it to me. I'll make use of it.
Yes, of course, yeah.
It is free for all, and all just take it and go with it. My only concern is the next FM, what they're going to change with it and that stuff.
Well, I'm hoping, and I'm okay. It's not tinfoil hat time, but I'm hoping what they're going to do is release a new target, like then a 120, and then just drop the 115. Don't do anything to it, but drop the 115 down to the points worth of the 111, and then so on, sort of stuff, and then just bring out a new 120. So if you want to be able to hit the latest and do the minimum amount of targets, then go and build a fleet for the 120. But the 115 is still going to be there, but it's just not going to be worth anywhere near as much points. So that would sort of like keep everybody happy. Those who want to do it fast will design something that's fit to do the easiest route. But the 115, it should stay on the map. Should. I'm not saying it definitely is, but I'm saying it should. I'm just laughing at Nick in sidebar chat. He's like, "What's a 115?" They're the ones around my base, mate. All right, because I get them. You don't.
Does Snoopy ever get on here and talk?
Oh, he does sometimes. Yeah, he's just. He was on last week, a week before, I think it was. So yeah, he does come on every now and again. He's funny. Always.
He's our official Crumb Dungeon mascot.
Yeah. He's grumpy
also
grumps.
on the spawns, I see a lot of complaining about the spawns, and of course, yeah, there is problems with the spawns. But whenever everyone takes the 115s and just leaves everything else, of course there won't be any spawns for the 115s as the 103s and the 111s pop up.
Yeah, the 111s was supposed to be temporary, so
yeah, that's supposed to be temporary. But honestly, I prefer the 111s than the 103s personally.
Yeah, the only difference to the 111s, isn't it? It's just the fact that those two ships aren't at the front entrance, are they? But I've got a way of getting rid of them now, so I'm quite happy that they don't cause me any disturbance anymore. But yeah, it is interesting. I sort of did a thing about a year ago with like a coloured dot chart sort of thing, basically, that I posted up about the fact that if everybody goes to 115s, and then the ratio of like if you hit it and kill it. What's going to pop up next? Is it a 103, a 111, or a 115? And if it's a 111, then obviously you're going to go across and find another 115. But eventually there can be no 115s, a ton of 111s, and a ton of 103s. Then everyone goes to the 113s. Some will then pop back up to 115s, but some of them will go down to 103s. And it's that cycle of eventually you end up with just 103s, And then no one's going, well, the spawns are rubbish. Well, that's because no one's hitting them, because nobody actually wants them, because the ratio to points to damage is not what you want. I think, as you said, if your 120 comes up, anybody that's above a level 120, although we hate using base level as an indicator, but then they should automatically just get the 120 all the time. And then if it dies, because you finished your FM personally, then somebody else can have it and then crack on, or someone can steal it off you because it's Battle Pirates, but whatever, Anyway, right. Anything else that we want to cover? Feel free.
No, I'm just waiting to see. There's been a change for the whole game, so I'm just gonna sit back and wait and see how everything falls out, because I think it might be a little bit too early to make a judgment about 2018 already.
Feels like Brexit to me. It's all too early to tell. Everything's up in arms, and people are like, "Well, it's a bit of a rough ride at the moment, but it might be all right in the end." So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
so,
it's gonna be a wait. I think it's gonna be a wait and see thing for now.
I don't like what they did with the TAC modules and then the countermeasure. I had a really big problem with them specifically doing the countermeasures for the raids. That didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, I didn't. I voiced my opinion on the TAC module thing. It should have been eased into it, but I think the decision was to have a whole different concept of 2018 going forward was probably quite late in the 2017 sort of like think tank. So I think they sort of went, well, if we don't start it straight away, we're going to start seeping into the early months of 2018. So I'll personally forgive them. I've managed to change my TAC modules now. I was like 3 weeks later than everybody else. I had to go through bounty suffering, getting thrashed, because I couldn't change my TAC modules because I had a single thing that was upgrading. I didn't want to cancel it because I was just stubborn. But it's done.
When does that run out? Is it?
It's still working. Still working now. So I've changed the load today for nothing. I forgot it was still running, to be honest. I thought it was done. I thought the first of the month we were over, but it's still going on, so you can still change the TAC modules for nothing.
Yeah, it was originally the first, and then it was changed because of people that were stuck in that 2-week window.
Oh, right. I didn't clock that. In fact, yeah, we did have it on a slide. Actually, no, you're right. I did clock that, but it's been a busy week. So, yes, but it did surprise me.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, no, go.
Did anybody bring up the megas and the campaigns? I got on here late.
No, as in the lack of campaigns for megas at the moment.
Yeah, I would love to see those come out.
I want the engine one back.
Well, there really is. We've got a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, maybe I think I do want to play, use the megas and stuff," but all they have is cannons and mortars.
Yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed the fact that I think it was a really clever idea to get everybody to level 2 everything for basically just titanium and a bit of res. That's a really good idea because it's just time then. But we're ready, aren't we? I think we're now ready to then move on, and people want some different tech now to take forward to level 2 and that sort of stuff. Because I mean, I've just leveled tech. I didn't get the new engine because I couldn't get it, but I've got the bridge and I've got a couple of drone modules. And mine's over level 300, and nothing's above level 2. I don't mind telling people because I don't hoard base mega ship parts. But so come kill it at your pleasure because you'll get nothing out of it. But I was just testing to see where you could get with it without actually having to go out and hunt for the to go up to level 3s. And I'm at 307, I think, on my mega ship just by going click update. So you can get them up at a really good level.
I'd like to see a module come out that targets support ships.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it, eh?
That would be awesome.
Chuck some drones out that go straight after them.
Yeah, or at least some targeting. So if I've got a spray on my bridge that will shoot 360, so that way I at least have some opportunity of hitting the other ships that are in there as well.
Even if it was just an aura that stopped them firing, for a while, because as soon as you get 3 or 4 ships come into support, it's good night, isn't it? So
can you use the onslaughts for support on the megas?
Yes.
Yeah.
be able to, yeah.
Yep.
What'd be really interesting is if people put drones on the onslaughts and have 3 onslaughts with drones, and it'd be all kind of weird and crazy.
It
The weird
doesn't
stuff
work.
going on. Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, not sure I want to spend 14 days putting them on there to test that.
The drones.
Is it still that long, Robin?
As
You never
far as I
changed
know,
that?
it hasn't changed.
Oh my goodness, I hated that.
It's still really long. It costs you more repair, and the drones instantly die to everything.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I
So at
saw
least they're getting
someone with the
targeted.
drone. I saw someone who had the drone on it, and it just looked very depressing.
What, a drone module on an onslaught?
Depressing.
Wow.
I've seen it. And they just put it in the corner, and it looked like they were crying in the corner.
Oh.
Or maybe a separate drone bridge module that is for ships.
Yes. Yeah. I would just like them to like quarter the repair time for the drone, just everything's in the attack module, just like divide it by a quarter. The build time, the repair time, the everything.
Yeah.
Is Venom being an idiot? What's he doing? Is he attacking my ship? Probably is. Oh no. Is that mine?
I wouldn't put it past him.
I think it is. It's a level 107 mega ship. So
When is he not?
yeah, it looks.
Yeah,
about
he is. He's whacking yours.
What level is yours? It's something
Bastard.
ridiculous, isn't it?
Wow.
Oh dear, it's funny. You're such a
Luckily, he doesn't know where my base is.
He knows exactly right. I never move, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me
He'll
at all.
find it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
You said you were in 261, did you?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, and someone's coming to support as well. What's on there? What's that all about? Like it
Oh,
needs
well.
support.
Well, you know how I said the other day that this is one of the I'm so impressed with the responsiveness of this alliance. There it is.
I just like to point out, I didn't tell anyone I was going to do this, and they're there within 30 seconds of me hitting it.
That thing has been underneath our Nexus all week. That fleet. Oh well, it'll just repair itself again now. It just sits there all the time. I don't do anything with it, but
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that they reduced a lot of the costs with it, because a lot of people were just like, "Oh, screw this! I don't want to go and sit and hit." It was a chore to have a mega before they changed everything. Was a really bad chore because you'd have to get all the parts, or you'd have to build the parts, you'd have to go hunting.
Titanium.
Now, yeah, and now it's. I mean, granted, we still have to get titanium, and that is a pain in the butt, but the costs associated with the mega hull have come down dramatically. And I mean, they still are a little bit of fun, especially if you have an alliance that'll come in and play with you. It's phenomenal. like the golden nexuses for bounty. Holy crap, fun as hell.
Well, it gave Venom a bit of amusement for 2 seconds anyway.
Yeah, that too. He's easily amused though.
He is easily amused. Yeah, you're right.
Can't
Yeah.
deny it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, maybe
Just before I jump to another sector, I just want to know: is there any live chat where you guys get on during the day when you play or when you're on?
what, as in this type of chat?
No, normal, voice chat.
That's
Really?
more alliance sort of stuff, you know. I mean, occasionally some people
Yeah.
do, you know. I get a ping sometimes from people, and they're like, "I'm bored, come and talk," you know. And so depends. But you know, as we say in this panel at the moment, you know, apart from, I mean, Ren's disappeared now, so we've lost one area. It's a global game, you know. I'm a bit of a night owl. I know Robin is as well. So she stays up really ridiculously late because she can, and I sort of like get up and then she's on, and I'm like, hang on a minute.
I don't think she sleeps, man.
Yeah, and I'm the sort of same, you know, 5 or 6 hours and I'm done sort of stuff. I've never have been a huge sleeper. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, but
So,
Robin sounds like my mother. She'll shout at me if I don't build the right stuff.
Do you know what? I don't think you'll say Robin's your mother. It's not good. Oh dear, oh dear.
She didn't hear that.
No, well, she did. You probably, her mic's dead. You probably a good thing as well.
No, I'm just behaving myself.
Ah dear. Robin will come and assassinate you in the night. Don't worry about it. And not just in the game.
That's why I'm going to
She will
jump to
send her
another
army
sector.
of drop bears.
It's good. Oh dear.
Someone says that the titanium needs to be in the daily chest. That actually doesn't sound too bad. Remember,
It
you
does
get paid
now.
parts. Oh,
Yeah, even if it's a little bit, you know, just 20 or 30K or something, you know, maybe not enough to make a huge dent in a ship build, but that would help get a mega thing started.
100K would be nice.
Yeah, yeah, it
The
would be.
amounts that we use, especially in that conquest chat, holy crap.
Are we going to talk about YouTube changes, or was that no?
You can't,
I didn't, yeah, I didn't know if Mark wanted to touch on that or not.
Can do if you want to. Go on, you can lead. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, I was going to say that YouTube's changing the way that they're doing a bunch of the stuff, including monetization. And
Oh, yeah.
we have a bunch of YouTube channels on the TFC page, and I believe the threshold now is like 1,000 viewers to have.
Yeah, it's 1,000 subscribers and
1,000 subscribers. So
4,000
if
hours
you
a
see,
year. Yeah.
if you see any of the pages on there or the channels that you like, go on, subscribe to them, have your dog's account subscribe to them, just subscribe to them so they hit the threshold so you can keep on seeing videos from everybody. I think Ren might be the only one that has is easily over it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, to be honest.
I mean, but I mean, everybody watches his channel, so. But yeah, if there are YouTube channels that you like, and we have a bunch of them listed on the page, hop onto them, throw on a subscribe on it, and help out all the people that I think we have. I mean, we have a bunch of them now, right?
We've got yeah. I mean, it's easy. I'll show you quickly. It's easy to get to the channels if you haven't seen it before. All you got to do is go onto the YouTube thing here, look, and there's a whole list of YouTube channels down there as well. So you just click onto the relevant one, TFC one included. Obviously, there's Ren's. Obviously, there's George's. Derps is on there as well. Derps is really good. I like his stuff because he does it all for the low level players. It's a cracking. His channel's nice and bright and clear and that sort of stuff as well. So
definitely subscribe on the TFC one.
Yeah.
While we're on the show, I mean, subscribe on the
just so
TFC
people
one.
know, the monetization from the TFC channel is what pays to keep the website up and running, or at least a portion of it. So, by adding that subscription helps us to keep that website up as well, and not to where Liam has to put his own personal funds into it. So,
which he did
you can
this year, again.
Yeah, he did again. But
I think he spent about 500 quid this year.
Yeah, so if you can subscribe, go ahead and do it, because it does help keep the cost down.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, I think I'm up to sort of 620 subscribers. I mean, I suggested to Ren quite some time ago that Ren would lead on most of the videos and that sort of stuff, and I'll lead on the page and doing that, and the shows and this sort of stuff. But it's got to a stage now that even for me doing my streams that I do, You know, there's certain things that you have to pay for, and like, yeah, it's not even breaking even. But I don't mind a bit. But,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never, like, I know some people, I've seen other channels where they always have the button subscribe now and all. I've never done it, and I don't even know that I've broken 300 subscribers. Like,
yeah, I don't
have any.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I don't have none.
Yeah, I mean, we do for the page, because the page actually costs us a lot of money, but none of our YouTube channels have got the donate buttons. We don't believe in that sort of stuff. So we're here because we want to be here and want to help because we want to help. So it's only the page itself there that actually Andrew registers and Liam pays for. So that's the only thing we need to do. Right. Anyway, that's enough groveling to everybody, because I don't normally do that. So. Right, are we done? Is there anything else you want to chat about?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I think that is on my mind is I'm still waiting to see some clarification about the raid targets between the A set and the S target for the Buccaneer.
Yes, because we've never got there yet, have we? So I'm hoping there might be a preview, or they're still going to give us cold turkey. I'm not really sure.
Well, I was confused about the countermeasures on the raid targets and the shielded tactical system. They also said that it wasn't going to work, and the countermeasures are biased to the type of damage the countermeasure does. So they're pulling some fast ones with us. I know that for sure.
I think there was a post saying that they mean to clarify the things that you had mentioned, that the STS and the countermeasure Crossy the streams, what's it? So I would kind of wait, hopefully a little closer to the raid. I'm still, like, do I put LA on? Do I put this other armor on? Like, just that decision alone is 2 days of refits across the fleet for Bucks, which don't have these tokens. So, not spending coins, like, I need to know. Like, you can't just, it's like the first raid. When they changed the charged armor the day before, and everyone's like, oh, you need to adapt. No, you couldn't adapt to that. That was not actually possible. Bringing out your ironclads is not adapting. I pulled out the old tech because my new tech didn't work. So they need to give us these changes, or at least let us understand the final iterations of the target far enough in advance that we can reasonably make decisions about what we need to put on our fleets and then have the time to do it. It's not a strategy game. They just change massive things a day, 2 days before the raid.
I mean, it was a big surprise because before the raid, Ren and I had spoken a little bit, and Ren was going to be doing the A targets. So I was like, all right, I'll go and bang on the S. And
hang on.
What is he doing?
Oh, we're being quiet, so it's screen.
Good grief.
He's such a child, isn't he? I'm not logging in the game. I've got things to do.
Yeah. So Ren and I had spoken a little before the raid, and he went and did the A sets, and I was doing the S, and I found on the first day that I had to change my CL3 to LA3 to perform better in the S target. And I mean, and that upset me because I had saved some tokens from the FM, but I had to use the tokens and then coin a little bit so I can get the damn information out, which, I mean, that blew my mind that the damage disparity was so great between the A set and the S set that you would need a different build.
Well, that's the thing. I did the change with one Buccaneer with the layered armors 3, and I was doing the TLC for it, and for some reason my one layered armor would get hurt more
because it was the A set. Yeah,
and I'm like,
TLCs.
Which one should we do better? I mean,
that's the problem where they've changed around, and they, like I said, the A set being the one that both fleets should be able to go into, and obviously the S target being specifically designed for one specific fleet. I mean, all I can say, I know it's this whole situation, and I'm not going to say too much, but GDR hopefully will be coming on in a couple of weeks' time again to go through a little bit of PvP moving forward. But I do know he wants to get in a position, very quickly, where they're designing, testing, and putting into the preview stuff, actually, almost half a cycle ahead, by simplifying the PvP structure. That's what the PvE structure, sorry. I don't know much
like
more
I
than
said,
that, but I know that's the
one
plan.
step at a one step at a time, and it's a wait and see attitude right now. But that's probably the only thing that's sitting on my brain right now is besides Siege Battery. But that's the only thing I think we're waiting on.
My thing
How
is,
how are hunters doing in those new uranium targets?
I don't want to comment on that.
The targets they took off the map because they're not doing too clever.
they're still on the map a little bit.
75,
Like-
75 is the only things that are spawning, and honestly, I'm not going in to try them
I'm
again
not
because
touching them. No.
I will admit that I did put my Fangtooths in there, the 35 or whatever, the low one, and it was, I could do them for instant repair just driving them. So I was like, well, usually you could do, I did one Fangtooth on during the raids, and it would auto it, and it'd be instant repair with charged armor. So I did, I did my whole fleet, and it took it down to half on the 35. The lowest.
Really.
Yes.
See, I
charged
autoed
armor, everything.
Yeah, I autoed with my hunter fleet, and that thing's all kitted out with all the new, weapons and all that crap, and it took, I think it was an hour and 4 seconds of damage on the 35 on auto, granted, but it's a 35.
No, during the raid, it was one Fangtooth doing the lowest target was on auto was instant repair. This one killed my Fangtooths to halfway. It was incredible that they would do that much of a damage boost to just this stuff. And yeah, I understand Tideseekers and Hell Wraiths not doing so well because it's the progression of targets. You need to get better and better and better with your hulls and your ships. But to that much, not
Well,
so
we don't have that option anymore because of the split. There's not crossover weapons that we can now apply to our PvE stuff. I mean, I think, and I hope that they're looking at it because I know they had mentioned it before, and I don't know how the transition is going to affect this, but when we go from a raid target to a transition onto the map, we were always explained that they were going to be tuned down because it's now a chore, it's not a raid, and we don't have half repair time. And I've not really seen that. I think the targets have mostly kept to what we actually did see in the raid, and we've lost the half repair time. So, I don't know. I mean, hopefully they're looking at it. And I know that they're looking at the chores and stuff, and they're looking at expeditions. That's why we got the new cards. So maybe that's on the table too. I mean, we'll see.
Right. Okay. Just a quick update, if you wouldn't mind, then, guys. I'll just say that I've shared the screen here. You'll notice that Andrew's done it. There's the turret builder there. It's under base. Okay. Under base thing. Go to the turret builder, and that'll take you straight to it. There it is. Okay. So he's done it. So pass that around your alliances, put it on your alliance pages and that sort of stuff. I'm sure that the bigger alliances, but everyone's got feeder alliances and that sort of stuff. So, it's there. Have a play of it. See what you think, and then obviously you can send some comments in. If you want adaptations done and that sort of stuff, and Wayne will get onto that, I'm sure. But it's good. He's done it, so I'm pleased. Right.
That looks badass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's done a good job there. I like it. It's something that no one's looked at really much before and that sort of stuff. And like you say, when you're building a turret, it's very difficult to show someone what you just built because obviously you can't even go and click it apart from changing another one. So at least it's a way you can do it and share it. And yeah, it's ideal. Right. Hour and a half in. That's it for the live show for tonight. Okay. I just want to say thanks again to everyone that's coming. We've had a great panel. People coming back into the game from days of old, which is always fantastic as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the best things about the community piece. It's people come back in the game and they still find a few friends kicking around, or they're brought back in kicking and screaming, and they get to it, I think that's been the case a couple of times. You are dragged back into the game if you like it or not. But it's the community piece, which I think is the biggest bit they've underestimated, actually, of the whole game. I've always said it. The community thing drives the game. It's not the battling half the time. It's the laugh while you're doing the battling is what does it for me. So I think that's the same in a lot of alliances. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for those coming in on the live chat as well and listening to the show. And hopefully then we'll get some updates for next week on the way forward, and might even get a couple of previews or get to look at something to do with the raid, which would be nice. So if not, I don't know when they're going to release it. The timing seems to be quite good lately, so hopefully it'll be on time. Wednesday does seem to be the normal update day now. It seems to have moved that way, so it'll probably be on Wednesday. But if not, then it'll be a bit later in the week, but we'll see where it goes. Stay salty, enjoy yourselves, and thanks all for coming in.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Good
Night, y'all.
Everybody.
Night all.
Hero,
Thank
see
you.
ya.